Hey, Politics of Language class. Today I'm going to be discussing the Monopoly game that we played on Thursday that had a little bit of a twist with it because we kind of dealt with the rules of social structure and Monopoly together. So at our board, we had one person that was in the higher class, two people in the middle class, and the rest were in the lower working class, which alludes to society in which we have kind of a small amount of people up top ruling over the large majority of people that don't have the same amount of money. And at our board, we had the middle class and the higher class that got a lot more money and had a lot more opportunities because we were able to buy the properties that we landed on. I know that I bought every single property that I landed on at the beginning, and those that were in the working class and the lower class, they weren't able to do so because they didn't have the money. And if they would have bought a property, they would have either been bankrupt or they would have financial instability. And personally, I ended up with 7 properties, and I thought that I did a great job because I had a monopoly, I had 2 hotels, and it honestly wasn't fair because I got those properties by bribing people in the lower class. I would give them money in order to get their property, or I would allow them not to have to pay rent on one of the turns in order for me to get another one of their properties. And I had this power because I had money, and without money, I wouldn't have that power over those beneath me. And so my reaction was I had a positive reaction. I was very happy about the way in which events carried out because I had money, I had property, people were paying me rent. But I think the funny thing was that the people in the lower class started to complain a little bit. And there were even a few comments about like, hey, if I had the same money as you at the start of the game, I would be doing even better than you. And that kind of alludes to society as well, where the people that don't have the same opportunities as everyone else, you know, they're kind of like if I had as much money as people in the middle class, the higher class, I could be doing even better. I could have a better education, things like that. And so this definitely alludes to kind of the discourse of uh, social justice and social inequality in society. And as far as social mobility, those that were in the lower class and the working class, they didn't have social mobility. The money they started off with was the money they ended up with, and for a few of our players, even lower. And Aitana actually went bankrupt because she had to pay a tax to all the higher people in society, and she had to pay rent to me and Steven as well. And so eventually she just ran out of money, and she couldn't do anything about it. There's absolutely nothing she could do about it. It was just the higher people in society had land and more resources, and so she had to pay them. Also, and Palm and myself, Palm and Steven were making the major decisions in the game, and that was because we had money, so we had authority over others, and so we would tell people you have to go to jail or you have to roll a double before you can get out of jail, and even if a double was rolled, we'd be like, no, you can still stay in jail, basically because we had that kind of authority because we had the money. Um, so there were no class alliances, but as far as class warfare, people in the lower class were definitely upset about the way that they were treated and their standings in society. So there is no classless society. In Monopoly, even when the way we played, some people might think that there is equal opportunity, but there was absolutely no equal opportunity. If you started out like Steven with all that money, you could pretty much do anything you wanted. And I definitely used my power in society to the fullest of my abilities, and that's how it works a lot of times in society in general. When we discuss shops and when we discuss even American society, those that have power, they can really do what they want, and they can oppress the people that are standing lower in society. Not just financially, but also through stereotyping, like the ways in which we see them in the media. That's also a form of oppression. And so this directly alludes to the real world structures in which we see in society, as far as people in lower class going on strikes or protesting because they are not given the same opportunities, and those that are in government that roll over them that are a part of these upper middle class and upper higher class have so many more opportunities to succeed, and so they're making laws and they're making rules that help them out, but not necessarily help the lower class out and help those that are working hard. And so there's a huge gap in between society because of this, and this creates social injustice. Thank y'all for listening.